Welcome to My Skeptical Sister.
I'm Megan, the skeptical one.
I'm Erin, the believer, and we're back again.
Here we are, and I'm so glad to see you survived your poltergeist last night. So we're sitting around. James and I are like watching a movie. We did great parenting and let Miles try to lull himself to sleep with kids' YouTube in my bed, right? Because it's summertime, and that's what you do. And then Blake's downstairs playing video games, and all of a sudden it was like, boom, blackness. All the electricity went out.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it tried to start back.
Yeah, same at my house.
Okay, so same scenario, both houses. And of course, both kids start freaking out.
Yeah,
and I'm
mine's
like, don't
immediately
wake
followed
up
by
the baby.
Screaming. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I talked over you. I'm going to hate that, but that's okay. We're going to keep it.
So I'm like, don't wake up the baby. Yeah, but they're both like panicked.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So same thing, because we haven't talked about this. Like, we cannot talk about this until tonight. So you tell me what was happening at this point in your house.
I was also doing great parenting, telling the girls to go sleep on the couch so that I didn't have to put them to bed. So they
Love it.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fun, Mom. Y'all can watch a movie while you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. But really, I don't have to read a book or sing a song.
Yes.
Just go to bed. So I was working on my puzzle, it's very dark back there when all the lights go out.
Oh, I bet.
So I was like, oh my goodness. And then I hear, Mom. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. It's okay. So
I know we did have like a delayed reaction. Like, I feel like James and I both kind of sat there for a minute, like, well, this is nice. It's like desensitized all of a sudden. And then both kids start screaming. We're like, oh yes, there are other people this is affecting in our household. So, okay. But a simple power outage, like we go and get candles.
We did. I looked outside. The entire neighborhood was dark.
Well, everybody came out on their porches. So everybody started talking like, is your power out? Including your family.
Yep.
And at that point, your power was totally out. Our power was totally out. Everything was normal in a blackout.
Yeah.
And we go back inside and I'm like, the weird part is the only thing to do now is to make everybody go to sleep, but they're so amped up. Like, they were so close. They were so close to lulling themselves to sleep. And now they're like, adrenaline's rushing and they're laughing about like the way they've reacted. And so I'm like,
my kids were still freaking out the whole time. They were
funny.
Still terrified. They're like, will you put a candle in our room? Will you sleep with us until the morning? None of that. I won't do any of that.
It's always dark when you sleep. What is the big deal?
Yeah. Well, they usually fall asleep with the hallway light on.
Yeah.
And they've got a little light in their room. So I let the candle stay in their room, but I was full intending to blow it out. Don't worry. It did get blown out. Luckily.
So my question for you, though, is were you then in your room with the door shut?
When the power went out?
Well, power is still out.
No, I was still laying down with Penelope when it came back.
Okay, so you're in your kids' room, tucked away in that corner, because at my house, power goes whoop, 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 everything goes back on. I'm like, oh, well, that was great.
Yeah, it didn't take
that long. Nice, that's awesome. And then Miles was concerned about Penelope, and he's like, you think Penelope's still scared? And so he goes and looks at the one. He's like, Mom. And I was like, what? He's like, look at their house. And I look over, and your living room is going crazy. Like, your lights, your lamps are going nuts. Like, they're flashing on and off. Like, either your SOS.
But not even together. They're like going back and
forth.
Yeah, it was weird looking.
Wild looking. So it was like either SOS or a dance party or...
That's how we always celebrate the lights coming back on.
So immediately, instead of texting you, I get on my phone really quickly and start recording. Because I'm like, this is hilarious and perfect. Thank you, podcast gods, for giving us this.
I brought Bloody Mary into her house, and now I'm going to reap the benefits before I double check.
Well, that was your response. And so then I was like, I should pause. Because I thought for sure you must be seeing this. So I kept waiting for you to like turn the lights off or something. That's why I was like, I got to get it recorded real fast. But it went on for a while, and I'm like, what is going on? So I finally sent you a message, and I'm like, what did I say?
Is your power back on?
Is your power back on? And
I said yes, and you said, are you possessed? Or too bad you're possessed now.
You were like, what? Why? Like, go look in your living room. So then you were like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on? So I'm cracking up. You can hear me respond to your text in my video because I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, she had no idea it was even happening.
No idea.
Oh man.
I recorded it too.
So funny. And then you were like, you did this. You brought Bloody Mary into this house.
It took me a minute to like register the fact that those are both on Google lights, like smart bulbs. So they were trying to reconnect.
Oh, how
to the server.
Funny. Yeah, I'm so glad you told me that because I'm like, well, I need to debunk. Why did that happen? I have no idea.
It's either that or Bloody Mary. It's one of those
Probably one or the other. I mean, I wish I were that powerful with 3 words to do something.
Except maybe you would have been if you had followed through, but
maybe. I mean, who it's kind of standard. A couple Bloody Marys, then you switch it to beer. Bloody Mary,
That's
Bloody
true.
Mary, beer. That's how
true.
Sunday morning goes.
That's
right?
how you don't wake up with the worst hangover.
Right. Exactly. So, whatever. I can't give her the full thing. But thank goodness I didn't, because who knows what if you couldn't have stopped that? That would have been so scary.
That would have been so annoying at some point.
How did you stop? Did you unplug them?
No, I just turned off the light switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then that was also funny because as soon as you did it, they were all like, we were watching your house like little hawks. Like we're over there like all laughing our butts off, and then that was it. That was like the joke of the night. I kept trying to get them to go to sleep, and I kept hearing like, "Do you remember when?" And they kept talking about it. I was like, "Okay, it's over. Go back to what do you think they were thinking?" That both boys were going back and forth. It was pretty funny.
I was thinking, I am so glad the girls didn't see that because they would have panicked.
Could you imagine?
No, they would have been crying. They were so scared as is.
Oh my god!
It's just a power outage.
Right. We've had them before. Remember the last one we had?
It was kind of fun last summer. It was
fun. We played cards and
by candlelight. It was fun.
It was great.
But man, they were freaked out last night. I don't know. I mean, it was like an extra dark night.
Mm-hmm.
Like the moon wasn't out. Was it? I don't think it was.
I don't know, but it was dark.
It felt really dark.
Even when we went out on the porch, it was like, boy, it's everybody had flashlights and stuff. So
yeah,
super exciting for a Monday night.
Yeah. Liven it up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And then I went and almost finished my puzzle after that. So
nice.
It didn't.
Well done.
Didn't dampen my mood. Oh, no, I stayed up.
Good for you.
Which was dumb because I had a PD this morning. But that's okay.
They're PDs. What are you going to do? You're going to sit and listen.
That's right. I made it through.
As a future principal, I mean, you're going to be attentive and become the best teacher ever.
I was very attentive. I had a very cool PD.
You weaved a beautiful picture of our kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat.
You'll have to put a picture of that up because it's so cute.
Okay, well.
So I have been waiting. Like James is like, have you talked to her about the show we've been watching? And I'm like, no. He keeps asking me, I'm like, I've got to wait till we record. He's like, ugh. So he even wants me to tell you about it. Okay,
I can't wait.
Because it is total guilty pleasure.
Okay.
I also feel like Ellie's really loud tonight, which is
she
good.
Is really
I feel like she needs to bring her presents back. People have been asking for it. Here she is.
She's very snory tonight.
But Sexy Beast on Netflix.
Is this like a dating show where they're in costumes? I haven't watched it, but we were talking about that. I had a friend's night with dinner and we were talking about it.
Paranormal, other than it's just like, what the hell am I watching? Yeah, what the hell am I watching? It's so weird.
So it's basically like The Voice for dating. You can't see them.
It is. That's a great way of putting it. Because I was like, I have no idea how to describe this, except for that really the most fascinating part is I want to meet the makeup artists that do their job. I mean,
so they're not even wearing like a mask. It's makeup artists. It's artists on the makeup on their face.
Some of it must be a mask. Some of it is definitely makeup. I mean, they just you cannot tell at all. You can't tell if they're black or if they're white. You can't tell anything about them when they're on these dates, which is also very interesting.
Right.
So you get two people together. They looks are not in the equation at all.
Right.
Except for sometimes they make some of them look like witches, and I'm like, well, of course I'm going to pick the like cute, cuddly Care Bear.
Well, I mean, maybe not. But, bears are kind of freaky.
Well, it's all supposed to be on their personality.
Yeah.
But it is, the funniest part about it is that the most visual part is, of course, you see them and you're like, I have no idea what they look like. And so the whole time you're like.
So you don't even get to see them first either.
Not till the very end.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like a makeover. So like the whole time you hear them, you see their personality, whatever. It's not till the last like 5 minutes of the episode that you get to see all of them. You do get to see all of them, whether they're picked or not. And the main person, it's just a dating show. The main person has got 3 people they go on a quick date with. They pick 2 out of the 3. I feel like this is right up your alley with like Bachelor.
Is this person dressed up too? Made up? Okay. They're both made up.
Everybody's made up.
Okay.
And then at the end, they reveal, you'll get to see the one that got away.
Okay.
And sometimes you're like, damn, they're beautiful or they're so hot.
Right.
But okay, I let them go because their personality wasn't in tune with mine or whatever. And then you get to see the main persons, the one who picked first.
Okay.
And then you get to see the other two walk up, the one that they didn't pick and then the one that they finally picked. You get to see them, and it is total transformation.
Oh my gosh, I gotta watch it.
I have been yet to go, okay, this is a blonde hair. Like, I'll pick. I know what this person looks like. And then in my mind, totally wrong every single time.
Oh, how funny.
Which is very funny. But the best part is the narration, because they kind of make fun of them throughout, because they're like, they act like they're not superficial. And I don't know where they got them from, but these people are totally superficial because they're like, I'm on this because I want to make a spiritual connection and da da da. And then they'll end up with like, but I love huge asses. Or and the narrator just kills them like every time. It's so funny. Like, the writing in the show is really funny. So if you're looking for something lighthearted, it's definitely not paranormal. So I know it doesn't really go into this podcast at all, except for that it's just been entertaining.
That is very funny.
If you're looking for a lighthearted, funny, something to laugh about, that would be your show, Sexy Beast on Netflix.
All right. Well, I also have a show that is absolutely not up your alley because you don't like dumb humor.
Okay.
But so this is not a recommendation for you. But last night I was going through HBO Max and found a show called Ghosts.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, all right, what is this? But like, just from the cover, I thought, I don't think this is a serious show.
Kind of like this. What was the spoof on Scary Movie? It was like Scary. Was it
Scary Movie? Not like spoof on Scream was Scary Movie.
That's what it was. Yeah. I'm old, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Well, not really. Okay, so this is a show about this like old manor, this old house in England that this woman inherits from her great aunt she didn't know about.
Okay.
And when the show starts, you see the great aunt like on her deathbed, and there are all these people around her, and they're like, I think she's going to go any minute, and she's like surrounded by all these people. And then she dies, and her little spirit floats up. You see her spirit float up, and then she looks at all these people and says, well, who are you? And they're all the ghosts that live in her house.
Oh, funny.
So like anybody who has died on her property who didn't go on is still there. So you've got like a Victorian person, you've got a caveman.
I think I kind of like this.
I don't know, you think it's very dumb.
Okay.
There's a guy who died in the 80s who just has a bow and arrow stuck through his throat. Like that's hilarious. I started it last night.
Okay.
I watched all of season 1 last night, and I just finished season 2 today.
Wow.
I mean, they're like 30 minutes. They're not long, and I have no life.
That's nice. I like that.
And I've been really trying to finish this stupid, huge puzzle that is driving me crazy. So I've just kind of had it on. But, I mean, I am rolling. It is so funny. It's so dumb.
Why does it remind me, and help me out with the name of it? I feel like it was in the 80s. It was 2 women. Death Becomes Her or something like that with the 2 it was Meryl Streep.
Yeah, and Goldie Hawn.
And Goldie Hawn. Like,
I just watched that not long ago with Kevin.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it is so weird.
Is it?
You should watch it again and be like, this is the most ridiculous thing. But we watched it all the time.
All the time. When you let that go back to who you were then.
Yeah.
And be like, you find this funny. I want to get to know you, former Megan.
So weird. Yeah, no, it is a great show. And it's got I meant to look up her name. That actress who's in Shameless, the best friend, roommate.
Oh, I love her.
I know. She's also in Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
But
she's like one of my favorites.
I know. She plays a real dumb ghost in this one. Like, she's like the Victorian. I'm probably not even saying the right eras, but she's like got a big, like very
wig.
Curly, wig on, and like a really, because they have to wear whatever they dyed in.
That's what I'm picturing with Victorian. I mean, again, we could both totally off because we think a lot alike. Yeah, well, at one point she's like, you learn their backstories as the show progresses. So I don't know how she died or what happened, but she's like, she wants to be best friends with the main girl who's alive, because she ends up being able to see him after she has an accident. And so I'm not giving anything away. That happens in the first episode. But at one point she's like kissing her husband, and she's like, are y'all trying to make a baby? What are you doing? She's like, I always thought you made a baby by pressing your ears together. And she's like, what? Who told you that? So then the rest of the episode, it's her trying to figure out how babies are made. And like one of the guys who's in there is like a politician from the 90s who has no pants on. He's just got like a business. The whole show, he has no pants. It's hilarious. I'm telling you, I'm rolling on it. I would like this.
All right.
No, I don't like dumb humor like, no, I like Zoolander and I love Dumb and Dumber. Like there are certain dumb humors that I do really like.
Then give it a shot because I love it. It's like all I could think about. I
like really smart dumb humor. I hated Scary Movie. It was just like,
oh yeah, no, I don't like that kind of humor either.
I don't. There's no intelligence to it. It's just like shock value humor. I don't like that. Same way I don't like shock value horror. Yeah, but if it's really smartly done, I'm there for it. And that's how Schitt's Creek was. Like, but I didn't at first.
Yeah, it took you a while to like Schitt's Creek.
Well, I only watched the first 10 minutes, and it was like them laying in bed and dripping, and I was like, "This is dumb." And then I didn't go back to it because I didn't trust that it was going to be funny enough. And then once enough people in my life that I really trust were like, "No, go back." I was like, "All right, fine." And about 3 episodes, and I was like, "Oh, I get it. It's really smartly done."
Yeah. Okay. So, then watch this and give it a few episodes.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad we got our show recommendations out of the way because this is a big episode. It is finally happening. Drum roll.
Yeah, big episode that we've been waiting for. Hold on, wait. Let me join you in the drum roll. Ready?
I'm sure that sounds so good.
Horrible. Sleep paralysis.
Yay. It's so good. We have so many sleep paralysis stories now, all of a sudden.
Yeah, you did a last minute hustle.
Right. So we are going to have to do part 2 in the future.
For sure.
Because we got a bunch.
Yeah, and I'm down for that.
Yeah, me too.
Because the one that I got one that was very explanatory. Is that a word? Is that a word? Explanatory? It sounds really weird.
Explanatory. I think that's a word.
Explanatory. Sounds weird when I say it. Aaron and I also pre-drank before this episode. Explanatory.
Not too much. It's fine.
It explains. How about that?
Explanatory. I think it's
explains sleep paralysis really well.
Okay.
And then I got like, holy shit, that's scary.
Yeah.
So
I have 2 scaries and 1 funny.
Nice. Okay, so we are on it, and that's just what we're reading tonight.
Yeah, that's it for tonight because that's a lot.
More for future. We will definitely do a part 2. So if you're listening to this and you have not submitted yours, you still have time.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want us to read a sleep paralysis story, make sure you're sending those in with that subject line. But we have a bunch. So.
And if you're just now listening to this episode, you're like, well, what's the thing with sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
So basically, I like to debunk everything, and sleep paralysis is kind of one of my number one things to go to because I've had my own experience with sleep paralysis, and you have not, correct?
I have had. I didn't feel terribly scared, but I did wake up and I couldn't move.
I felt terrified, but my mind did not go to paranormal. It went to someone must be breaking in. So I felt like I was in peril of some sort.
Yeah.
But it was of the real life.
Right. Even though in your experience,
nothing happened.
Nothing happened and you didn't see anything out of the norm. It was just such an anxious feeling because that's important for my debunk.
It is. And it also will debunk your debunk because when you're in that anxious state, if you are a believer, you're going to probably go more towards the paranormal to explain the state that you're in. Whereas if you are a non-believer, you probably will go to something more realistic. However, the person that wrote into my side is a skeptic, and she definitely went paranormal. So that is interesting.
Okay, also same.
Okay. I'm just saying that I think your brain tries to make and it makes a situation where you feel panicked and you don't understand why you're feeling panicked make sense.
Right. I feel like if all of this is just in your head, I feel like your brain would have seen somebody try to sneak in, even if it was just out of the corner of your eye, because these stories, not every sleep paralysis story. Now I'm already debunking before we read.
Okay. Well, let's just get into it and we'll debunk as we go. Okay. Let me get my phone off the charger. We'll get new drinks and there we go.
Okay.
Zimmerman Art Glass is honored to memorialize your deceased loved one or pet by enhancing their cremation remains in beautiful art glass. Choose from over 150 glass designs, including custom jewelry, paperweights, and sculptures. Prices start at $40, allowing you to choose multiple pieces to share with your family. They are a third-generation family-run business dedicated to creating the perfect piece of memorial glass for you and your family. Visit their webpage at artzglass.com or call 812-738-2206. They encourage you to visit their glass-blown studio to discuss your project and watch them work. They are located just 20 minutes from downtown Louisville in historic Corydon, Indiana.
Okay, ready when you are.
Okay, so I'm going to open with this because it's not really a story. Our neighbor, Sarah, who we've talked about before, she was a fan favorite not too long ago. She mentioned that she had experience with sleep paralysis. She didn't do a full-on story, but I just felt like her little excerpt that she gave us really explained it well.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with that, and then I'll give a listener story. She says, I love the idea of a sleep paralysis episode. The common denominator in the majority of sleep paralysis experiences is the perceived presence of a malevolent presence. Anyway, it has always intrigued me. There is a lot of evidence for it being a neurological/organic condition, but the frequency of the malevolent presence is what makes me wonder about the spiritual component too. Anyway, keep up the amazing work. I'm grateful for you two wonderful mamas and neighbors.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Right? But I thought that was a great way of saying, because they say it's neurological, it's organic, it is what it is. But the common thread is that there's typically something that's scary that is attached to it, which is what my experience was. I didn't think it was like my physical. Well, I didn't think immediately and one of my, okay, I'm just going to read it.
You were scared, but you didn't see anything. And a lot of these are going to see
But
something.
I perceived something very scary. I thought for sure, without a doubt, I would have put everything in my bank account that there was an intruder in my house.
Well, in your defense, that was very little at the time.
Still is. It still is very little. You're funny. At the time. Oh, it still is very little for sure. But yeah, no, that's
just
true.
Kidding.
At
just
the time,
kidding.
At the time for sure. It was back in my drinking all the time days. Oh man, those days were fun. Okay. All right. So this is from, and I've got to apologize to Melinda here, who is the author of our next sleep paralysis story. I will also have to wipe the tears out of my eyes from crying at how bad I messed up those words.
Well, I'm going to put all that in bloopers. So
of course
they're not going to hear that.
Well, that's okay. Hey, hang on tight for some bloopers because I'll give you some material there. So we have to apologize to Melinda because we do have a story that she wrote previously that we've been banking for our next episode, and then the sleep paralysis episode popped up.
Yeah.
So
we're going to get to hers.
We will definitely get to hers because I also love this story. She even says plain boring sleep paralysis story, but it's not boring. I think it's interesting, and it kind of goes right along with Sarah's. It just gives a good explanation. So she says, "Hello. I'm slowly but surely getting caught up. The last time I wrote in, I believe I was at episode 16, but now I've reached 29.
Nice.
Right. Come on, girl.
Yeah, thanks.
Keep on going. I mean, you're almost out of episodes. We gotta keep up with her.
We better get on it.
We got to get on this. Yeah. Anyways, I heard during the episode that you were asking for stories where people had experiences with sleep paralysis without thinking that there was a ghost or anything else in the room.
Okay.
Right. I'm like, that's what I was asking for. She said, or at least that was my understanding.
That's fine. Because I
right.
think
Aaron
those stories are important too.
They are important because it proves that it's true and that it happens.
You're right. It proves that sometimes it's just sleep paralysis.
Oh, okay. So Aaron is here for this. When I was a kiddo, I only remember being younger than 10 because I was still in single digits, but I couldn't tell you my exact age. I experienced multiple episodes of sleep paralysis, but I had no idea what it was at the time, just that it was terrifying. It always seemed to occur when somehow I'd get turned onto my stomach in my sleep, so my face was in my pillow. Because of this, I would wake up feeling smothered and unable to breathe, and I would panic and try to scream for my mom, but I couldn't make any sound. I couldn't move. I just felt trapped, struggling to breathe. Oh, that's the worst. Until it finally let up and I was able to turn over and get a deep breath in. I'm sure it only lasted a minute or two. I hope it was like seconds, but it always felt like it went on for hours. While it was terrifying, it was also frustrating because I would think in my head, come on, just roll over. What is wrong with you? And couldn't figure out why I couldn't just get my body to do what I wanted. After I'd wake up and eventually feel fine, I'd question whether I was really stuck or just not trying hard enough or torturing myself. It sounds stupid writing this out now, but hey, I never claimed to be a bright kid, LOL.
Oh, it doesn't feel stupid. It actually makes me feel like I need to explain sleep paralysis to my kids in case it ever happens.
Definitely. And also, I mean, but isn't that what we do? Right? So we experience something that has never been explained to us or we don't know. And instead of giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt, because I have been this way with lots of things. If it's something that is not within my norm or my parameter, I'm like, I'm a weirdo and something is wrong with me. And I'm not going to tell anybody about this.
Like when I got my period in 4th grade and thought I was going to die. So I didn't tell anybody for 3 days.
Yes. I made our older sister promise never to tell mom. And immediately she told mom.
It's so dumb. Why do we think she was going to be mad at us for it?
Because mom never talked to us about it. Mom never, she was just like, they'll figure it out on the bus. It'll all be okay. And so then when it happened, also, we were 9.
Yeah.
So when it happened at 9 years old and nobody told us, I was literally learning about it at school. And they said, when you're 12 to 13.
Yeah.
So I knew I would be in trouble. I knew I will be in trouble for having this way too early. So, but that's what you do is you go to like, I can't tell anybody about this. You know, like you get stuck, especially as a young kid, like, all of that. So yeah, it makes me want to definitely tell our kids about sleep paralysis, but then also have the conversation of like, look, weird fucking things are about to start happening.
Yeah, right.
You're not alone. The weirder, give it to me. Let me crack open a beer and you tell me all about it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, it's wine. We'll start
We're
easy.
classy while they're awake.
We're classy while we're at dinner. But for real, I mean, that is like, you are not weird. And that does not sound weird at all when it's typed out. That's just, I think, human nature. If we don't have it explained, and we don't know anybody else who's gone through it, we immediately think, and I still to this day, I'm like, is this normal? I just didn't think I was going to say this on the podcast, but whatever. I'm 40.
I'm so excited.
40 and I'm going to live it and let it happen. I was like, Aaron, my hair's getting greasy all of a sudden, kind of like I'm going through puberty. Thought it was my shampoo, looked it up. Turns out I think I might be going through menopause a year after I had my child.
Oh, that sucks.
Right. Or does it? I'm like, I don't know. There's some benefits.
All right.
You are so fucking supportive.
It'll be great.
It will be great.
It'll be great.
Menopause will be great. No more periods.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I don't care if I have to go through some hormones. You're going to have to
bear
the brunt of it. I know you got PTSD from mom.
Yeah, I'm just real afraid of, I think I'm more afraid of menopause than anything else in life. I'm really afraid of it.
I'll let you know. We'll figure it out together.
It wasn't fun
I promise not to
living vicariously in mom's house.
I promise not to be too mean to you. Okay.
You say that now.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't promise. But you know what I can do? I can blame it on menopause. How about that?
Right.
Okay. As a result, I never bothered telling my parents or anyone else because I was worried they'd tell me I was just imagining it and end up feeling dumb and like I was just being overdramatic. Years later, when I'd first heard the term sleep paralysis used, I thought it sounded exactly like what I'd experienced until I saw that even on WebMD, most resources stated that it was typically associated with the feeling of an evil presence or a demon in the room, which I had never experienced. Because of this, I figured that it wasn't what I'd gone through until I later learned that feeling something evil in the room wasn't a necessity for the experience to be considered sleep paralysis, which is when I was able to confirm that that indeed was what I'd experienced. That's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting, just my plain old boring sleep paralysis story. I hope this is what you were looking for. If not, I apologize for this long-winded email with random stories from my childhood. And then like with the emoji of like the hand,
hand on the forehead.
Yeah. Just to try to jazz things up a bit. She's like, okay, I'm not done yet. A couple more details about myself. I'm an empath, so I'm able to feel such experience what others are feeling. And I also have random premonitions from time to time. I can't speak to the empathetic side of things, but I definitely inherited the random premonitions thing from my mom, who also experiences them. Nothing life-changing, but every once in a while, she'll just show up somewhere and be like, I decided to come here because I knew you'd be here, and I wanted to drop this off for you. Or she may come over for a visit and just happen to bring something completely random, like whiteout, because she knew I needed some, and just ran out, even though I hadn't mentioned anything to her about it.
Who uses whiteout?
I know. What year is this?
Just kidding, Melinda.
I mean, clearly she must be typing on a typewriter because she's a ghost from 1980s. I don't know. That sounds
1980s. We still had computers then.
I remember typewriters in the early 80s.
Yeah, but I think that's just because Dad was weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably. That sounds way more boring written out than it did in my head, but I figured I'd share and hope for the best.
Whatever. I think that's so interesting.
I know her whole story. We love it. You're both amazing, and I love listening to you. Keep it up. All the best.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love it.
Right. So 2 stories, I think, that explain exactly what sleep paralysis is. Baseline, there it is. So without any paranormal experiences, you can have at this level this.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we just go through all the stories and debunk at the end.
Okay.
Instead of after each story.
Okay, I'll try to keep up, but I'll try to remember them, I promise.
You'll remember it. It's going to be great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read my first story. And this is from Sydney. And this was after my hustle. So nice. I don't think Sydney's listened yet. Hopefully they'll start listening soon. Figured I'd share with you my first ever experience with sleep paralysis that happened the night of, or maybe after, Halloween. And the man that might be in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to debunk the man in the house, you can do that. But sleep paralysis, we're debunking
at the end. Okay, I got it.
After passing out candy to hordes of trick-or-treaters, my daughter and I went to bed while my husband got ready for work. He works third shift, so I was alone during this endeavor. I feel it's important to note I always sleep with the TV on, typically playing Bob's Burgers. I love Bob's Burgers because it makes it easier to see my daughter in her crib if she gets fussy. I'd also been waking up every night between 2 to 4 a.m. for no real reason. That night was no different, except around 3 a.m. I decided to turn the TV off. In what felt like seconds after being in the dark, a tall, shadowy, misty male figure was towering over me and staring at me so intensely I could hardly breathe. He also appeared to be wearing a brimmed hat.
Hey, what is up with the hat band? Last 3 episodes.
Telling you, it's so creepy. In one incredibly swift motion, this Babadook-looking motherfucker threw a blanket or cape over me, and I absolutely could not move. Can you imagine how scary that would be? You can't move. The
process is so real.
Okay, I could feel the weight of it in addition to my comforter. Then I feel the pressure and the creaking of my mattress, and this dude is crawling into bed with me and is staring me in the face. What's even creepier, grosser, more horrifying is I sleep on the edge of the bed, so it took up the sliver that was left, and I can only imagine that the other half of his body was hovering. Like she's on the end of the bed, so that little sliver that's left of the bed, that's where he laid down, but he's maintaining that spot.
Okay, but I'm like, he's hovering over you or hovering like
off the bed?
Well, I think over you would be even scarier.
Yeah, but that's what she's saying.
But if he's like hovering, like he's just trying to lay down and get comfortable, he's like,
that's fine. You're cool with that?
Over? I mean, I'd be like, bitch, you're in my bed. Get out of my bed.
Ridiculous. But no, that's what she's saying. It's like he is laying on that little sliver, but because he is not like of this world.
He's just that skinny. He's so tiny.
He's so tiny.
He's such a tiny little sliver, man. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I couldn't check on my daughter. But that part is so scary.
That is horrible.
So I just kept blinking, which did nothing but create flashing images of horror directly in my face.
No.
That's awful.
It is awful.
So we went from like, oh, it's just weird sleep paralysis to this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
As quickly as it appeared, it dissipated. What the fuck? She's making me say the F word so many times.
You're doing it beautifully.
Thank you so much. I practiced. Mm-hmm. Now moving backwards, we bought our house in May. I hadn't really been there long enough to experience anything weird, but over the summer, after running errands with my husband, I could have sworn on my life there was a man standing in our spare bedroom looking out the window. I was so convinced someone was in the house that I didn't want to go in. I chalked it up as a shadow, but now I'm not sure if it wasn't that same thing from that night. Isn't that creepy?
So she thinks it like followed her.
No, so we read that story that happened after Halloween, and she said, now going backwards, like before anything had happened, she thought she saw a man in the figure.
Oh, so she's wondering if it
was
got bold enough over time,
right?
And then followed her to another house to lay down next to her.
No, in the same house.
What?
You're so bad at listening to my story.
Man, I really sorry.
Backing up. She's going back in time when they first bought the house.
Oh,
they're living in it. Nothing weird had happened.
Okay. I got it. Just takes a little extra steps sometimes. Listen, it's fine. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not going to debunk. Told me not to debunk, so I'm just going to say horrifying,
so scary,
terrifying story. And I agree. Like, thank God my sleep paralysis has not come back. I mean, it can happen, but it happened when I was single. I could not imagine the feeling that I had knowing I had kids in the house that I needed to protect.
Oh, I know. It's awful.
Oh, that's horrible.
That is very scary. And especially, I mean, her baby was in the crib, so it couldn't have been old. You know, gosh. It's like defenseless.
Yes, that's the worst, because Miles was like, get up and kick its ass, Miles. You got this. You are my best defense.
You know how I tell you not to hit? I change my mind.
Now's the time. Yeah, it's like in that swing away. Yeah, that's hilarious. We both went there. Sign. There was that movie Signs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, watch that movie. It's another good one.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that movie. I think it's really good.
I liked it.
I did too.
Yeah, I like the twist at the end. Okay. Okay, so our next story comes from a fan favorite, a regular. We all love her. Shout her out. Don't feel like I mean, she's just the best. I had drinks with her not too long ago, and that's the best part of this.
I know.
We have now met several. Yeah, I thought I was kind of done making new friends, which I wasn't.
You're going through menopause already.
I know, right? I've got my okay, y'all. They might not be my friends after this.
Oh, no, they are.
Whatever.
Well, if they're not going to be your friends because you're going through menopause.
They're not real friends. It's the same thing as puberty, right? That's what you tell your kids.
That's right.
Exactly. Look, if they're not going to be your friends through puberty, then they're not your friend. So listen, Stephanie, you better hit me up for drinks next time you're in town just because I'm in menopause.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
We'll get you some ice chips, cool you off.
Okay, ladies, I've had several experiences with sleep paralysis throughout my life, but the following was the scariest. Who is it ever? I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is scary. When I was 25, just a few months after my father died, I came down with the flu. I was living alone, so no one was around to help in any capacity. My fever spiked to over 102 degrees.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Yeah, like at that point, call an ambulance.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I mean, I'm not judging Stephanie, or call me. Like if anybody out there
didn't know you then. She's only 25 then.
I know, but I would have come over and taken care of it. Like you need somebody in your life that can. I'm sure she had people in her life. She just didn't want to inconvenience them. But which I get as a single woman. That's kind of how I was too. I'm like, I'm just sick. I'll get through it. It'll be fine. But 102 degrees. You got it. That's serious. I began hallucinating.
Yikes.
Like at a certain point, my goosebumps felt like bugs crawling all over my legs, and I could have sworn I saw them. I had to use my phone to take photographs of my legs so I could see for sure there was nothing there.
Yikes. That's
not
awful.
A good time. Isn't that horrible? Oh, I hate that for her. I slipped in and out of sleep throughout the day, and at a certain point, I was having a very soothing dream that my dad was checking on me. Sweet, right? But then a loud noise woke me. I have no idea what made the noise, and then in parentheses, I lived in a duplex and in a very busy part of the city, so no telling. But my attention was drawn to the closet. The door was ajar, and I slowly came to the horrifying realization that something was there. No, not something, someone. Just a tiny portion of someone's head was inching its way out of my closet.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I hate that.
So they could peer around the edge of the door at me. I remember feeling my heart lurch and my guts went cold. I tried to scream and get out of bed so I could run out the door. That's when I realized I couldn't move and I couldn't make a sound.
Oh my gosh, I can picture it, and it's so scary.
I know. Well, just wait when she describes it. No matter how hard I tried, I could not muster anything more than a squeak. I could see that the figure was short, only about 3 feet tall.
Ooh, oh dear.
I mean, you could also punt that. like
Punt that?
like punt it, like kick it if you weren't paralyzed. But so like in real life, it'd be like, what? You're not that scary. But I mean, when you're paralyzed and 3 feet tall comes at you, that's scary. But with a bulbous head and eyes full of malice.
Oh.
I know. Bulbous head and eyes full of malice. So like I'm thinking alien-like. Is that not what you're thinking? Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
Okay. It gave me not quite human uncanny valley vibes. As it slipped from my closet and moved toward me, I tried desperately again to scream, but my body just would not respond. At this point, my fever overtook me and I slipped back into unconsciousness.
Oh, no.
Right?
Just helpless now.
Ugh.
Even more so.
Ugh.
It's like when the spider, you no longer see the spider.
I don't know how long I slept, but when I woke up again, the figure was no longer in the doorway of my closet. I was relieved until I realized I still couldn't move. Oh, that's the worst. My panic only increased when I saw the top of its head begin to rise up over the edge of my bed, eye to eye with me, just a few feet from where I lay. As it peered at me, smirking slightly, I finally found the strength to make a sound. It was just kind of a guttural moan, but it is what finally brought me fully around, back to consciousness. The figure was, of course, gone. I was absolutely drenched in sweat, crying and trembling so hard I could barely walk. But there was no way I was going to be able to stay in that room. I grabbed my pillow and a blanket and spent the rest of my time that I was sick on the couch, television on and phone in hand, after asking a few people to check in on me a few times. I love sleeping more than I love most people. Same. I love that. It's so true. I do too. But OMG, I never want to have an experience like that again. Get your flu shots, folks.
Wow. Ooh, that is really scary. Now, I feel like in her case, though, she was already hallucinating.
She was.
For her, I feel like that
I'm
is
sorry.
hallucinating.
We're not debunking till the end, I'm according to you. But that's okay. Do we get into it now? Or
no, I got one more.
Okay.
I feel like that one was a very scary hallucination.
Okay. Well,
I don't feel that way about most.
All right. Say that again at the end of your story, since we're debunking them all at the end.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is also a little repeat. This is from Michaela, who was our fan favorite last week.
Yes. Hey, Michaela. Hey.
Okay. And then she's going to be mad at us because she specifically requests us to do something and we're not going to do it. So anyways, it says, "Hi, ladies. I didn't think I would be able to write in again since I only have one ghostly experience. However, I do have sleep paralysis experiences to share. But before we start, you said in a previous episode that I got to pick who read my story. Instead of picking, do rock, paper, scissors, and whoever wins gets to read it. So let's do it just to see if it would work out. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot." You jerk face.
No,
you can't wait.
Wait. I was waiting so that I could let you win. So that then
you... Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
The same thing. Oh, you win. That means you get to read it. I was trying to let you win.
Well, I thought you were trying to cheat me.
No. In all other cases, I would. But in that one, I was trying to honor what she was trying to get going there.
Oh, right. Okay. So it all starts back when I was 20. My husband and I were getting the house we live in now, ready to move into. The previous owners left it really gross with lots of repairs, so while we were in between places, we were staying at my parents' house in their basement. I was working the 3 to 11 p.m. shift at work, so I always snuck in a quick nap before going in because the drive was 55 minutes one way, and by the end of the night, I wouldn't get home until 1 a.m. sometimes. The first time it happened, I had taken a nap during the day, and when I opened my eyes, I couldn't move. I could breathe and move my eyes, but that's it. And at the foot of my bed was what I perceived to be a man standing in all black with a white mask. Not like the mask from Scream, but one that covered everything but the eyes and mouth. Okay, now we're going to pause because I really tried to picture this. It doesn't cover the eyes or the mouth. So is it just a nose mask? Unless it's like the eyes are cut out.
Everything except for the eyes and the mouth.
Okay, so like a Phantom of the Opera mask. Like a half mask.
That's a half mask. Like imagine the only thing are 2 eyes and a mouth.
Okay.
Everything else is covered. Yeah, like you got a little mouth and you got 2 eyes. Everything else is white.
That's less creepy than the nose mask that I had pictured.
Is it?
No. I mean,
that's more creepy than your cute little nose mask.
I know both the situations, because I would be like, what kind of freak? Why are you covering your nose?
I don't know.
But it'd be scary. I would be like, you're an idiot.
Now, do you think I smell? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I would.
Fuck you. You're in my house.
It is creepier.
I can smell however I want to smell. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. He didn't move. I began to panic, trying to move, and I still couldn't. The figure never moved. It stayed at the foot of my bed, and I closed my eyes tight, trying to almost give myself a pep talk. Okay, Michaela, you have to be able to move. But when I opened my eyes, he was gone, and suddenly I could move. I sat up, breathing hard and scared out of my mind. I knew that the thing I saw at the foot of my bed was not real. I somehow knew that it wasn't an actual person. I laid off the naps for a while because when I would take them, I'd be home alone. But at night, my husband, then boyfriend, was there, so I felt safer. And then she says, not sure why he made me feel safer. You could drop a house on him and he still wouldn't wake up.
That's how my husband is.
He was a very heavy sleeper. So fast forward to sometime later, we're now in our new house and my son is 3. His room was across from ours, so not even a full 4 feet away. One night I woke up again and couldn't move, and this time I was awake but couldn't even open my eyes. I knew it was happening again, so I thought, okay, I need to stay calm and I'll be able to open them. Mm-hmm. When I did open them, the same figure was standing next to my bed in front of my closet. I couldn't move, but I had at least gotten my eyes open now. This time I stared at him, in parentheses, it, ? For what felt like 5 minutes. I closed my eyes and gave myself another mental pep talk. When I opened them again, he was gone. But it's what happened the next night that scared me. The next night, I was tucking Easton into bed, that's her son, and he says, Mommy, there was a weird man in my room last night.
What?
I just got cold chills when I read it.
Yes.
I asked him what he was talking about, and he said he stood at my door. I told him I'm sure he was only dreaming, and he said he wasn't. I don't remember if I asked him to describe the figure or not, but I do remember that night he slept with the hallway light on and his nightlight on. When he told me that, it made my stomach turn. It made me think that somehow another world had opened up from my sleep and let this thing in our house. Ooh. I haven't experienced anything since then, and Easton is now 5 and just makes jokes about the invisible man that lives in our house. The invisible man is just the house settling or the ice maker. You tell yourself, Michaela. You tell yourself that, Michaela.
That's what it is, Michaela.
I hope that was my last encounter with the figure and my last experience with sleep paralysis. I touched on it briefly in one of my podcast episodes, but this is the full story. I've read a lot about sleep paralysis since, and I, of course, watched The Haunting of Hill House. There's a lot of crazy theories that people have said and old legends about sleep paralysis being demons sitting on your chest and trying to smother you. I don't know if I believe in that, but I do think it's a scary experience. Love you girls. Your sisterino, Michaela.
That's right. We are sisterinos. Oh, wow.
Right?
Ooh, that added one at the end. Like,
I know.
I love it. She's like, I thought I could only write in once. I only have one scary story. I'm like, oh, you could have written that one in at any time.
Oh my gosh. Like, it sounds like you're run of the mill. And then to have
that twist at the end, the sun kind of confirms like there was something else. Man. All right. Are we ready now, or do you think you're going to read a funny one?
Oh yeah, I do have a funny one. That's right. I forgot.
Wait, do you want us to debunk and then do your funny one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so here's what I will say. And I always think it's funny because I think we're arguing the same way, but from 2 different perspectives. And it's kind of like when you go, how could Trump people be Trump people? And how
but wait a minute.
So normal?
In this scenario, which one of us is a Trump people?
Oh,
because
I am
not. Oh, I am not ever going to go with that.
Let's say I'm going with logic here. It ain't me.
Oh, I will cut you.
I knew that would get you. Okay. How about this? It's kind of like that gold dress and blue dress, right?
Okay.
We can both describe it as sequenced and short and blah, 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 blah. But we see different colors when we see it.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So to me, the fact that people see or have perceived scariness is what makes it sleep paralysis, because it is your brain overreacting to a very scientific, simple thing. And it is your brain searching out a reason, a logical, it's like looking for a reason of why do I feel this panicked? Because it cannot fathom the fact that it is your body is shut down and you're fully awake. Because that's what sleep paralysis is. And that's where I learned about it, is after I had this episode, I was terrified. I thought, oh my gosh, I have some medical condition. Like this must be something is like a precursor to what's about to happen. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to find out I've got something, you know?
Yeah.
Because I thought for real, it was some sort of physical thing that must be wrong with me. And then I happened to watch like a Dateline or like something. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of like news thing. I think it was like on in the background. And I was like putting on makeup and I heard them say sleep paralysis. Still no bells, no triggers, whatever, until they started describing it. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what happened to me. And so I zeroed in on it. And so in my mind, to me, it is your brain terrified that you can't move. So it's trying to figure out why you cannot. Like there must be some sort of threatening thing that is preventing you from moving. Like in my mind, it was like, I must have been poisoned. there must have been something that happened to me so that someone could break in and get all of my very inexpensive items. I'd be going to great lengths just to get like a broken stove. I have no idea. I had nothing of value. But in that state, that's what my mind went to. So to me, that tells me, because I'm a skeptic and I don't typically go paranormal with personal experiences, I didn't go paranormal. So when something like this, when sleep paralysis happens to a believer in paranormal things, their mind is looking for some reason why, and it goes paranormal, and it creates the worst thing possible that they could think of, like a bulbous head with malice eyes, or a masked man, which that could actually be, that might not be paranormal.
Well, if it happened twice, years apart, I feel like it probably is.
I mean, is there a possibility that it could be a stalker?
Oh, okay. All right. Now let me go. So this is why we will never agree, because you will never give in to the paranormal possibility.
Right. And you'll never give in to the skeptic.
I will sometimes. I think that Stephanie was genuinely sick. Her fever was insanely high.
Okay.
And she was hallucinating.
Okay.
And I think her horrifying experience was hallucinations. Okay. But I feel like you can have sleep paralysis. I feel like people have sleep paralysis and see nothing. And there is nothing except for your body's weird reaction
to something.
It's waking up.
It's literally your cognitive mind waking up before your physical body does.
Right. And I know that you can have that scared feeling. But in your case, you saw nothing. You were panicked. You were very scared. But you didn't see anything. But what's very different is that these people are also seeing and feeling things. So I feel like maybe sometimes it's sleep paralysis, and maybe sometimes it is a new force that has come in and like put you in this sleep
So you
prison.
think in their stories that it is their sleep paralysis but has been caused by the presence that is there.
Yes.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful presence.
Yeah, I know. Terrifying.
Yeah. If you are having a sleep paralysis moment and you believe in that.
When I had sleep paralysis, I thought, oh, this is weird. This is a really weird feeling.
See, there's my difference. This was not like, I didn't wake up thinking, well, this is weird. I woke up like heart pounding. Something is wrong. Instantly, like, oh my gosh. Like I knew there was something wrong with maybe I didn't see something, maybe then whatever, but there was actually nothing there.
Okay. Well, this is also the house with the drawers, is it not?
No, it was not.
Oh, damn it.
It wasn't. It was not. It wasn't. It was the second house, and I was there by myself. I lived there, this house by myself with Corley, my dog. But so to me, what you're describing is somebody with a very vivid imagination, which I've never had. Like, I mean, I've had and imagination, but I've never had something that has been like, I've just never had that vivid, I think I see a ghost, or like I might see a figure and then I immediately talk myself out of it. I'm like, that's not a ghost. That is the clothes hanging over the door. Like I instantly come right behind it with a logical reason.
Okay, so even in your panic state, maybe there was something paranormal there, and your rational brain that likes to shut everything down, even with weird proof.
Well, then I feel like you just debunked your own thing.
You're saying, oh, there must be nothing. I'm just imagining this.
But you're saying that if there was really something there, then then it would be there, no matter what.
Not if you're so shut off to it. I don't know why we do this podcast. It pisses me off every time.
I don't know. Let's just drink more. It never pisses me off. I love hearing your opinion. I'm like, we could go forever, but I know it pisses you off. So I'm like, we should just shut it down before we really fight.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our funny one before we go.
Okay. I'm down for that.
Okay. So this is from my friend Sarah, who I knew back in Owensboro, and we had both said, like, boy, we should have actually hung out. We met in a new mom nursing group, for nursing support.
Oh, I was like, you're not a nurse.
And we were in Owensboro, which is super religious. Well, I left that group like, oh my gosh, these people are intense about everything, about nursing being the only way, about just everything. So I left kind of like, oh boy, with everything. And then later found out Sarah was like, oh yeah, I kind of thought you were in that group too. I was like, no, we totally should have hung out. Okay.
I hope she's okay with you, Tom.
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay,
although she does still live there. Sorry, Sarah.
All those other people aren't listening to this.
That's right. They don't care.
Yeah.
So she wrote, okay, I have a hilarious sleep paralysis story if you need it. It's super short and nothing to debunk, but it's funny. Okay, it's the first time my husband had sleep paralysis. He's had several incidences, and I can try and get him to tell you about some of them, although he never does. You get on him, Sarah. So we were married a couple years, and I wake up one night to him screaming in the middle of the night. So I start screaming because obviously we're getting murdered.
That is the logical reaction. If Jay started screaming, I think I would probably match it.
I know.
I would not be the calm one.
I know. There's no other reason to scream like he was. He sits up and starts screaming all over again.
Oh, no, that's terrifying.
Because I was screaming. And he was like, what's wrong? And I said, what's wrong? And he says, you were screaming. And I was like, you were screaming.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm terrified and start crying because I have no idea what's happening.
Oh.
He lays back down like he's just going to go back to sleep.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, hell no, what is happening? So he finally puts it together that he was dreaming of a demon or something, and he could not move, could not talk, nothing. So he was trying to scream in the dream, but just as the demon was reaching him, he was able to scream and wake up. But he wasn't conscious enough to put all of those pieces together because for him, he was waking up to me screaming.
Oh, no.
Which sounds horrible. You're already dreaming of a demon, and now your wife is screaming.
Like, what is going on?
He did go right back to sleep because he can always fall asleep in 5 seconds.
Isn't that a man?
So annoying. And I was up all night. And for a long time, anytime he made the smallest sound in his sleep, I would just lay there preparing myself. He didn't know it was sleep paralysis until he'd had a few more incidences. And thankfully, he goes to a sleep doctor now that was able to help him sleep properly. So he rarely has them now.
Nice.
He said that the first one was the most scared he'd ever been about anything in his whole life. So I'd love to hear that story.
Yeah.
She doesn't give it to you, but that's her side of that story.
So funny. Well, that is, okay. Being bolted out of sleep.
So scary.
To something scary. And then there just is equally scary. Like, there's always got to be a calmer one.
Right.
When there's not.
That's
comical.
I know.
When there's not, it's just at the comical level.
All right. Well, let's move on to your fan.
Oh, okay. So we're done debunking. We're doing all that. Okay. All right. So our fan favorite, and I love her. This is Christina.
Yay! Oh,
Right. So
I'm jealous. I had her saved as mine.
Well, too bad.
Rude.
Tough titty, said the kitty. I got to it faster. Okay, so
except I'm pretty sure I told you I'm going to pick her as my fan favorite next.
No, you
yes,
did
I did.
not.
Yes, I did.
Well, sorry. I got to her first. So Christina, she's been there from the very beginning. She's always shown support. She just has this great Facebook presence. She's always giving us great comments and great material. And then she is a Patreon as well, which always helps.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your monetary support. I mean, that's just
you don't have to be a Patreon in order to be a fan favorite by any means, but
not at all. In fact, I mean, I just was looking for somebody who I always know is a great supporter.
I mean, we do love you a little bit more if you're. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, you're getting us a little bit.
I'm just kidding.
Crab dinner. But yes, no, we don't pick because of that. But thank you so much, Christina, for that. Anyway, I'm so glad. I have failed the last couple times. I've had people in mind. I just hadn't asked them. Christina was one of them. I just forgot and whatever, life got in the way. But I'm so glad I waited till tonight because when I reached out to her, she was like, today has been an awful day. So you just made it better. So I'm like, I don't know if that's like whatever, kismet, paranormal, whatever. I'm going to say coincidence. But I'm like, oh, I'm so glad it happened tonight.
Right.
She said it just made it a lot better. So I'm so glad maybe her day got a little bit lifted. But anyway, I'm also so glad that I picked her because she gives an amazing organization to give a shout out. Okay, so Thurgood Marshall College Fund, which we are both here for because this is amazing.
Okay.
They were established in 1987. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, TMCF, is the nation's largest organization exclusively representing the Black college community. TMCF member schools include the publicly supported historically Black colleges and universities and predominantly Black institutions. Publicly supported HBCUs enroll over 80% of all students attending HBCUs through scholarships, capacity building, and research initiatives, innovative programs, and strategic partnerships. TMCF is a vital resource in the K-12 and higher education space. The organization is also a source of top employers seeking top talent for competitive internships and good jobs.
Huh. That's awesome.
Right. So as educators, I'm like, yeah, we are both there for this for sure. So she says, as you can see by my pick, I'm not Black, but as a woman of color, donating is a way that I can help my fellow people of color have an even playing field, if that makes sense. And I was like, it definitely does. Yeah, it definitely does. So, I think, I don't know, I just, when I read all this and I started like scrolling through their website and seeing everything that they were about, I think it's such important work. I think that sometimes we, and I say we, I mean me, I will often be a lot of talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll see a Facebook post. I'm like, oh, that, and I'll dig in. And I think that's important. I do think it's important to, when you see an injustice being spoken, to counteract it. However, I once reached out to a friend of mine and asked, what can I do as an advocate, as an ally? And they said, a little less talk, a lot more action. And, thank you for calling me to that because I love to get up in my soapbox sometimes. And so this is a great way to put your words into action. We can go out there and actually do things, not just talk about it. So to me, this is a way that you can put your money where your mouth is and actually promote it.
Thurgood, what is it? Thurgood College Fund?
Yes, Thurgood Marshall College Fund. And we will definitely post that website. I think that is an amazing thing to give time and support and money to and notice to.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. That's awesome.
Yes.
I knew she was cool.
She's awesome, right? Right?
All right. Well, I think this was a great episode, and I'm excited for our next sleep paralysis episode.
Yeah, we're going to definitely have a part 2 because we have a lot of stories now.
Right. I don't know if we'll go back to back. We might give it a little breather, go back to just plain old ghosts or whatever.
I like that.
And we'll come back. But I thought this was great. This was very interesting. Yes. We all know that I'm right, so we're just going to move right along.
You're so cute. Right and so cute.
If you have a sleep paralysis story or any paranormal story, doesn't have to be ghost, anything creepy, unexplained, whatever, send it in to myskepticalsister@gmail.com. You can rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and tell your friends about us. It's very appreciated. We're also on social media, on Facebook and on TikTok.
We
and
like to
Instagram.
conjure up Bloody Mary on TikTok from time to time.
Oh, yeah. We love to conjure up Bloody Mary.
Stay tuned for what I'm going to do next with the Ouija board.
No, I refuse. It's not coming in my house.
At my house?
Yeah, okay. Your house. If I don't touch it, sure.
Okay.
And my kids aren't anywhere in the house.
Okay. And I burn the table after we use it?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a lot of commitment. I'll give it some thought and I'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds great.
But I mean, it's TikTok. Who wouldn't do it for a TikTok video?
Oh, just selling your soul to the devil. I mean, no big deal.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we will talk to you next week.
Cheers.
La 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 la.
Then in that moment, you would have seen the door creak or a man walking in try to burglarize you. Burglar you. How do you say that? Burglarize?
Yeah.
See someone trying to come in.
There you go. Just re-explain it. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Hold on. How do I explain this without the word that I don't know how to
That's
say?
right.
Okay.
You would have seen somebody try to sneak in.
Burglarize.
I moved past it.
Hamburglar. Okay. Hamburglar. Okay. But the prevalence of
Malevolent.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But the prevalence of the malevolent.
Say that 5 times fast.
But the prevalence of the malevolent. Presence of malevolent.
I can't
look at it. Say it.
But the presence of the malevolent. You want me to say it in your voice?
Yeah. Yeah, do it. The presence of the malevolent presence.
Shut up.
Seriously, say that. But the prevalence of the malevolent presence. Oh my gosh, I'm so hot all of a sudden. Okay. The prevalence of the malevolent.
Stop looking at it.
I can't. Okay.
Frequency.
The frequency of the malevolent. It's such a block. Say it again.
Malevolent.
It always seemed to occur. It always seemed to occur. I get it up.
You're not allowed to drink before.
I know. I'm so sorry.